Hi, my name is Rachel Wong, and I'm one of the researchers on this project to highlight or summarize the benefits of constructive learning in geology. So to kind of introduce our project and why we even came up with this, the big goal was to kind of identify learning strategies that could help improve students' learning and that can be quickly utilized or adopted by students to achieve their learning goals. The reality, and for most educators, this is something that we might know, is that students are often unaware of how certain learning strategies can be more beneficial than others, or they simply do not utilize strategies effectively while learning. So they might use them, but they might not be used effectively. So to better understand why some strategies are more effective than others, this study draws upon Chi and Wiley's ICAP framework. The ICAP framework identifies 4 modes of cognitive engagement: passive, active, constructive, and interactive. And these are defined by the overt learning activities and the product of the activities that learners participate in. So to give you a quick overview, looking at this little chart over here, and let me zoom in for you. So we have 4 modes, and these 4 modes are labeled in increasing levels of engagement. All right, so you have the passive mode of engagement, whereby the individual is just sitting and receiving information. They might not be doing anything additional to process the information. So an example of this might be sitting in a lecture hall and not taking notes and having your lecturer lecture at you. Another example might be what we have right now. So if you're watching this video and you're not taking notes, you're just listening, that would be a passive mode of engagement. We have the active mode of engagement, where students are involved in something, and this could be copying notes from a slide verbatim, or simply highlighting or underlining their notes. If you are taking notes, if you're taking notes right now in this presentation and you're copying and you're keeping track of what I'm saying verbatim, then you would be engaging in an active mode of learning. So after active, we move on to constructive. So constructive is slightly different from active in that you are listening. Constructive is different from active in that in the constructive mode of engagement, learners are actively constructing their own knowledge. So this might look like learners drawing out drawings to represent something that they understand, or creating concept maps. In this current situation, it might be you paraphrasing what I'm saying or creating summaries of what I'm saying in your own words to help you better understand the material. And then finally, we have the interactive mode of engagement, which really emphasizes the role of interactions between individuals. So it might look like you providing an explanation to a peer, answering questions, or even engaging in a debate with a peer to strengthen your understanding. So if we were having this conversation in person and you ask me questions and I respond and we go back and forth, that would be an interactive mode of engagement if I am expanding your thinking, if what I'm saying helps challenge your thinking and your responses challenge my thinking as well. So basically, Chi and Wiley hypothesized that as you move from passive to active to constructive and interactive, your levels of engagement increase, and as a result, you are more likely to develop a deeper understanding of the material. So to test Chi and Wiley's hypothesis in an authentic classroom setting, the present study sought to answer the following research question. What is the effect of highlighting, which is an active strategy, and summarizing, a constructive activity, on students' geology knowledge in an authentic classroom setting? So a between subjects design was used to investigate the effect of highlighting versus summarizing on students' learning performance. We had 71 undergraduate students participate in this study, and students were assigned to either the highlighting or the summarizing condition based on the lab session that they signed up for. So the learning materials for this present study consisted of 6 paragraphs on the carbon cycle. So the carbon cycle was a topic that was covered briefly in class, so we provided more information about it in this study. Students, each paragraph was presented individually. So students in the highlighting condition were prompted to highlight keywords, and you can see over here, they were prompted to highlight keywords and students in the highlighting condition, in the summarizing condition, I'm sorry, were asked to summarize the paragraphs they just read in their own words. The summarizing question, the summaries were done after reading the paragraph, and that was done on a separate page. For the purpose of this poster, we put that on the same page, but just something to take note of. Everything was presented online on the computer via Qualtrics. So in terms of measures, we had a pre-test, which included 5 knowledge multiple choice questions, an immediate post-test, which had 11 retention and 3 transfer questions, a delayed post-test, which comprised of 8 retention and 3 transfer questions. So the pre-test, the activity, and the immediate test were all administered in a single setting. The delayed post-test was administered a week later. So in terms of our results, we conducted a one-way ANOVA with condition as the independent variable, and learning outcomes such as immediate retention, immediate transfer, delayed retention, and delayed transfer as the dependent variables. Our results showed that there were significant differences between the conditions for immediate retention and delayed transfer. Specifically, students in the summarizing conditions outperformed students in the highlighting condition. And so this is obviously very helpful, because what our results show us is that it provides empirical support for the ICAP framework. So remember I said earlier, Chia and Wiley hypothesized that as your mode of engagement increases, you achieve a deeper understanding of the material. In this case, we found that students in the constructive mode of engagement performed higher on retention and delayed transfer than students in the active mode of engagement. So this is important because, coming back to our very first point, the goal of the study was to identify learning strategies that students could easily adopt or already use, but maybe not in an effective manner. So what we've shown here is that both highlighting and summarizing are common strategies that students either already use or can be easily adopted. And we also found that they are effective, they can be used effectively to help promote learning. A big significant contribution of this study is that this study was conducted in a real classroom. So the findings are even more impactful for educators and students who are interested in identifying more strategies to improve learning. One thing that really stood out to me was the significant findings for the delayed transfer test. So this delayed transfer, the delayed post test was administered a week later. And what we found was that the summarizing condition was effective in helping students retain the information and then apply the information when they were asked new questions that they had never seen on the topic a week after participating in the activity. So the results here are all very promising. So moving forward, in the study, we looked at the active and the constructive. Moving forward, we're interested in examining constructive versus interactive modes of engagement. And this follow-up study is important because the findings can provide additional empirical support for the ICAP framework and provide support from an ecologically valid perspective. Additionally, we hope that in conducting this follow-up study, we can also shed light on the importance of utilizing learning strategies that increase students' engagement as they learn in the classroom, and not just activities that students engage in for the sake of engaging in them. So that's all we have for this poster session. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to send us an email. We would be really happy to connect with you over this and to answer any questions that you might have during this time. So yeah, stay safe and stay healthy, and thank you for your time.